To be completely honest, there is only really one match on this card that
Yeah,
that I want to hear people talk about, that I want to hear people's thoughts on.
yeah.
And I feel like if we were going to do predictions, we should start with this match anyway because it's so juicy. Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns, WWE Undisputed Universal Championship in Montreal. Frankie,
Montreal.
does Sammy have a chance?
It's gonna be as close as Drew got, I think.
Mm,
I think it's gonna be very close. He might even get closer than Drew.
closer. Okay.
Yeah, because it's a story that's been built for over 9 months, as I said, and it's gonna come so close, and then they're gonna pull the rug from under him because you got to keep the
Uh,
story alive. For what? I don't know. For whom? I don't know. And I guess that's why this deserves its own podcast because it's gonna take an hour, but we'll cap it somehow. Just this match alone, when we got the general idea that this may happen sooner rather than later,
mhm.
we weren't ready, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think we were prepared. And then when the Rumble happened and he did what he did and that pop and apparently the story that came out that you had mentioned is that the pop was so loud that it knocked out like one of the mics or it
Yeah,
captured
it
it.
it like it busted a bunch of the audio equipment they had set up
Yeah, so
around
like
the arena.
and then
Yeah.
everyone's reaction on YouTube was just do it, Sammy. And he did. And now we're here, leading up to the Elimination Chamber, not the Royal Rumble, as we thought and hoped that it would be.
hmm hmm
That honor goes to Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare.
He fought hard, man. He battled 29 other superstars to win.
I don't. I think you're misreading that. I think you're
Yeah,
misreading
I'm
that.
pretty sure he came in number one. He threw everybody
Mm,
out. Yeah.
Yeah, he battled real hard. He battled real hard.
Yeah.
But at least they acknowledged the elephant in the room, which is Sami Zayn, which is at least in this regime, it's not going to be something that's going to be swept under the rug or like just removed from television. Kind of like what happened to Luke Harper. And absolutely, that was
Actually, yeah, you're right. That's a really good callback.
like like Vince made absolutely sure he never got closer to the main event other than the elimination of Styles and him for like the number one contender or to enter the elimination chamber or whatever it was for. I don't remember what it was. Like he just had like that banger of a match with AJ and he clearly won, but he wasn't meant to win when it was like a battle
Yeah.
royal or something. Whatever.
Yeah. I just rewatched that Harper versus Orton match
You got it.
recently.
Yeah, you sent it to me and I have to rewatch it.
Dude, it like
That was one of our matches of the year
it's
that
it's
year.
still so good. Like yeah, there were spots in that match that I was like, damn, I forgot about this.
Yeah.
This was a really good match. Yeah,
But
that's a
yeah.
really good point. I feel like one of the reasons that it is worth talking about this match on its own
Mhm.
is because between Royal Rumble and I wanted to say No Way Out because I'm old and
Word.
Elimination Chamber,
Word.
a lot more has happened than I thought. And I think it's worth going back to what happened on Monday night, where for the first time, Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes, the two most over baby faces in the company,
Yeah.
who are running parallel to each other in this WWE championship picture right now, came face to face
Mm-hmm.
in what I thought was a really risky, smart decision
Yeah.
because they were acknowledging there are two people that are essentially kind of the top babyface
They got a holy shit chant.
for a promo.
Yeah.
The crowd was into it, man.
Yeah, they ate it up. And it was in Brooklyn, baby. Um,
So here's one of my questions to you.
yeah.
I've heard some people say that that promo felt like WWE testing the waters on would you guys be down for Sammy versus Cody at Mania? That's just one interpretation
Yeah.
of what you could take away from that
Hmm.
promo. There are a lot of different ways to interpret them sending the two of them out there, probably on purpose. They want multiple interpretations because
Yeah.
they don't want to confirm or deny what the plans are. Do you see a scenario where that could be the match?
Yes, I see it, but I also it's hard for me to
Mm.
fully grasp and believe that they would do a babyface versus babyface at WrestleMania.
When
Because
is
I
when does
don't
that happen? I'm trying to think back.
even then, usually someone's a heel. And
Yeah, at
Cody
least a
will
little
not be a
more of a
heel.
heel.
And Cody will not be a heel. He said it before. Everyone was begging him to turn
I
while he was with
know.
an AEW, and he's like, "No, I'm not turning." And he said
Dude, he's
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 done.
the John Cena. He's WWE's new John Cena.
Bro, you're calling him American Nightmare. That's very tweener and not like
I
anti-hero.
know.
Like it's very easy to just be a heel. Come on. You dress up as Homelander. So it's
You
just
know.
it's it's hard. It's really hard. It's like I think what was it when someone made an example? I think even Randy called it out. He was screwed when he faced Triple H one time. I think it was at WrestleMania because it was heel versus heel.
Mm,
So it wasn't very like entertaining, very good match because no one likes a heel that no one wants to cheer for a heel. Now, yeah, sure, that's different. Everyone's cheering for Brock because everyone
yeah, but that's
legitimately
because
hated
he's cool.
Roman.
He's Brock Lesnar. He's just cool. Like, I just
Yeah,
want to
but
see
then
him
it stopped
F5 a
being
shark
cool.
into the ocean or something.
It just stopped being cool when they're gonna
Yeah.
book it again and again. And I'm pretty sure if Vince
Well,
was still in charge,
yeah.
emergency button, he would have just booked it again this year.
Honestly,
Um,
100%. Yeah. 100%.
yeah, he couldn't get
Um,
Stone Cold, he couldn't get The Rock. All right, Brock's going back in, baby.
dude. I wanted to kind of ask two separate questions
Hmm.
here because I think the fun of this upcoming match between Sammy and Roman is that we are like very positive Roman's gonna win. Well, I should
Hmm.
specify. He's gonna retain the titles.
Yeah,
There is a world where Sammy technically wins the match, DQ, count out, whatever,
yeah,
some sort of finish. But I think some of that is dependent on where his story goes after this.
right.
Because if you want to turn it into a triple threat at Mania, then it should be some sort of DQ count out. I don't know. Jay comes in and super kicks Roman, and that ends up technically he retains the titles even though he lost, or
Hmm.
Sammy lost, but he didn't really lose. Um, so there are two scenarios that I want to ask you about.
Hmm.
If Roman wins, how do you think that happens?
Betrayal. If not betrayal, it's just like the full force of the bloodline comes at
Mm,
him.
Jay comes back, or Jay comes out because he's already back. You think he turns on Sammy?
I mean, you can't even say the turn. It's more so it's just he just he fully aligns himself with Roman, or just solidifies that I'm not I have your back, head of the table. But
Yeah.
then with that, it opens up different scenarios. Obviously, the more cop out worrisome scenario is that then it's gonna be Sammy and um KO for the tag belts, which as I think about it more, that's still kind of cool because Sammy and KO have never been like a babyface tag team in
Right.
WWE or have never won any gold together. So that's kind of cool, and they're best friends.
Yeah.
But that's just me trying to like justify it, where I just want Sammy to win both titles or like one of them. So
I know.
I guess what I kind of want to interject myself here a little bit. I don't know if I answered both of your questions. If I didn't,
That's okay.
fine.
They're kind of like it's very easy to kind of combine these two questions just because
Hmm.
I'm curious what you think an outcome or multiple outcomes of this
Okay,
match.
so yeah, I guess the outcome, and I guess to like fantasy book, is that he doesn't win. The crowd boos. Mega heat, more heat, nuclear heat, more heat than ever before. And he pummels him. He pummels him, and maybe he gets a save from Cody and KO.
Mm.
Um, and then I guess I don't know. That's one scenario, and there's a scenario where like you pummel him, and like you get rid of him, like he's not in WrestleMania because he's that hurt. But even then, I feel like that would be such a
Oh yeah, you
that's
can't
scary.
do
I
that.
don't know if you
You
can
can't
do
do
that.
that.
But
Yeah.
then I think about like what's to stop Roman from continuing to be champion, and honestly, nothing besides Cody. Even then, Cody just got back. Cody just started his story. Is he over? Absolutely. Is it time to put the title on him? You could argue not.
Yeah.
So my thinking is that you need to give Sammy a sneaky way to win. And how does he do that? Probably winning Money in the Bank. So maybe if it's true that they're bringing Money in the Bank, I don't know if it's this year, if it's still going to have its own pay-per-view, but they had mentioned, they want.
This year it is. It's going to be in the UK.
Oh, right. So yeah, it is
Yeah.
the last. It's going to be the last, I think, solo one because I think
I
they're
would,
gonna
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the last like solo
because
pay-per-view.
they talked about it was a rumor. I guess it's not confirmed yet that they wanted to
Yeah.
bring it back and just put it exclusively on WrestleMania.
Yeah,
Um,
that and like Hell in a Cell, like trying to get rid of some of those
yeah.
specific
So
pay-per-views.
I mean, then if he has one more chance at a solo pay per view, and that's doing it Money in the Bank, he wins Money in the Bank, and he cashes in on SummerSlam.
Mm.
You know, at another big pay per view.
Yeah.
It's not WrestleMania, but he'll have his shining moment. And that's how I think could happen. It's one of many scenarios. It's
I
not just a
know,
handful.
dude.
It's different scenarios that could happen. I'm sure Trips and the writers are all like pulling their hair on what to do, and maybe they just don't care and they just dropped like the idea of trying to remove both titles, which I think would be beneficial, and it would have been beneficial if he just went after one title. I don't need both. I don't need
Yeah.
all of it. I just need one. I need one, two, three to beat you to get one. Like he could have cut that promo, something like that, something similar. And I don't know. They're in a tight situation where if they make the wrong move, the story goes to shit, and the flames die out slowly. It's not dying out, and I don't want it to die out, so I won't say it's dying out yet.
Yeah.
Could die out this Saturday, or the flames will at least start to die, like dwindle down, and the steam starts to lose its steam. The train
Yeah.
won't start. Will stop chugging. So let's hope not. And I'll be glued to my phone, waiting on the results because I'll be traveling to Mexico, unable to watch or see. If I get some service, I guess I'll try and use my data. I don't know. I don't even get much while I'm traveling international. Jeez. Oh,
Yeah. I I've been thinking about this match a lot.
I know you have.
And I there's really only one outcome that I think would completely torpedo this whole storyline. And I think it's a tag title cop out. I think that part of
Mm-hmm.
what
Mm-hmm.
I took from the Monday promo was that it felt to me, and there are a lot of ways to interpret what that segment was,
Mm-hmm.
but it felt to me like they were moving him out of the tag title picture because you had Sami Zayn in there with the number one babyface in the company. And I feel like the farther we've gotten from Royal Rumble,
Mm-hmm.
a tag team title match for where Sammy is right now would feel like a massive downer and just like throwing, sand on the flames.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would be cool if if the bloodline stuff wasn't currently happening. Like if it
Yeah.
was just Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens teaming up against the Usos, that'd be sick. It'd be a super sick match. But if it's coming off the heels of like arguably the greatest long-term story they've done in the last, I don't know, 20 years, it feels weak. It feels like a weak, like
Mm-hmm.
what I'm trying to figure out is if Sammy doesn't win the titles, where does his story go? Like, because it seems like there are two scenarios. It goes to a triple threat match or a night one, night two, whatever they're gonna do, or it goes to a tag title match. And considering Kevin Owens hasn't even like been on TV, I just boy, that would just feel like such a downer from my perspective for like how amazing the story has been. So here is my, I guess, like idea. And I talked about this briefly
Mm-hmm.
with you earlier today. Sammy wins the titles
Mm-hmm.
on Saturday.
Okay.
Jay comes back, costs Roman the belts. And for a long time, like we've been talking, like, well, if you really go back, the whole bloodline stuff, this whole story started with Jey Uso. And we had like talked about the idea that like Jay and Roman maybe do something at SummerSlam,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but a lot of I think the idea for pushing some of this stuff was that we thought for a long time The Rock was gonna come back. Like I legitimately thought that was gonna be the match. And so did WWE because they had a plan to
Mm-hmm.
split the belts between Cody and Roman if The Rock had come back. It would have been Cody goes over night one or night two or whatever, and Roman beats The Rock the other night, so they split the titles. I'm kind of at a point now with the bloodline stuff where I think they should just do it all at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Get it all done within the next what 6 weeks between now and when Mania is over.
Mm-hmm.
And that match would end up being Sammy Cody and Jay Roman,
Yeah.
which I
That's.
think is not a bad. I don't really think there are that many bad outcomes. Like even the tag team thing, it's not. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think it's a bad outcome. I just think it's the weakest option because I think
Mm-hmm.
Sammy deserves more than that.
Right.
But Jay Roman, I mean, if we were fantasy booking that as a SummerSlam match, move that shit up.
Mm-hmm.
Like also because we also talked about Roman wanting to take like a lighter schedule and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
maybe going off doing some more movies and stuff.
I mean, he
Like,
should get all the offers after this fucking storyline.
dude, seriously. And I was thinking about the people involved in this story, like behind the scenes. Like, I can only assume that if there were two people Roman would want to put over on his way out, at least from like full time. Well, he's not really full time right now, but like,
Mm-hmm.
like big main event full time schedule. Sami Zayn, Jey Uso. Those seem like the two people he would personally want to put over. I I mean, you could get that all done within the next 6 weeks and then let Roman go off do movies. You have the draft, you split up the
Mm-hmm.
belts. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, like the more I thought about it, I went from thinking like zero chance. I thought this was going to be, and it might still be, because I think the most heartbreaking outcome would be this is like a Kevin Owens Sami Zayn match where Roman
Yeah.
just beats him so badly the ref has to stop the match, or Jey Uso runs out with a towel again.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know, man. I mean, the longer it's gone on, I've thought like, and they're planting these little seeds, which like Triple H is really good
Mm-hmm.
at.
Mm-hmm.
Like we saw this with NXT. He's really good at making you think both people might win the match. And like where he builds the stories in a way where it's like you could see a scenario where it would make sense for both people to win. And that makes it so hard to figure out who you would put over
Yeah.
because there's a path with both outcomes. But I don't know, man. They're dropping these breadcrumbs that make me think like maybe it's not maybe it's not that crazy. Also, because like we had said earlier, could like Cody Rhodes believably will be just as over a year from now as he is right now.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn, I don't know if I can say the same thing.
Mm.
If you want to capitalize on your best opportunity to try to guarantee that you get another main eventer out of this storyline, maybe it's the time to run with Sammy. Like, you don't have to worry about Cody. He's going to keep selling merch. He's going to
Hmm.
keep helping sell out house shows. He's going to be in the main event picture. He's going to be on Raw. But once Roman leaves, like, who are you turning to on SmackDown? Like, Sammy could be that guy.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
he could.
I like I think that what I've been thinking of is like, okay, yes, maybe Sami Zayn right now is not enough to headline WrestleMania, but I think Cody Rhodes is.
Yeah.
Like, I think he on his own is enough.
Yeah.
So I think part of it is like, do you need to be that concerned with who he's facing? Because his story isn't even about who he's facing. He
Hmm.
just wants to win the title. He doesn't have any beef with Roman Reigns. So like in theory, you could swap his opponent out. And I don't know. The more I've thought about it, I'm like, and I know it's probably not going to happen. They haven't strayed from their plans so far, so they still might not. But boy, does it feel like there is an avenue for Sammy to win, kind of like Eddie Guerrero did when he beat Brock Lesnar
Hmm.
and just like shock the world on this like little in between pay-per-view, this B show, and then goes on to Mania. And like, I don't know. Maybe he loses to Cody Rhodes. I'm not really sure. But man, could you just imagine the pop? Haluva kick, one,
One,
two,
two,
three, pin
three.
on Roman. Oh my God. They'd be like storming the ring. Like the fans
Oh
would be
my
like
God.
charging the ring. I don't know. I think there's a chance. And I think it would make a decent amount of sense. And I could see Cody wanting to put Sammy over. Like I could see
Hmm.
the people involved in this storyline now all wanting to put Sammy over. And I've heard the Kofi Mania stuff,
Hmm.
but the person booking the post Kofi Mania stuff was a moron. You gotta give an actual
Excuse me.
person who knows what they're doing. You've got to give them
Yeah.
a shot to see if they can do it better. Because I don't, I can't take Vince McMahon booking Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston. I can't take that seriously because he just didn't care about guys like that. But Triple H does. Triple H loves Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
I mean, I just, I don't know, man. I think there's an opportunity to just sort of wrap up the bloodline stuff. Like,
Hmm.
once the Royal Rumble stuff happened, it's like I don't think you can really stretch this out till SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So, like, the Usi stuff, like all the fun segments, those are all over. Like, it's done. There's not gonna be any more of those like fun segments.
Right.
So it kind of feels like maybe this is your chance to just wrap it all up by WrestleMania and like, then start a new storyline after that. I don't know, man. What do you think about all this? There are a lot of possibilities. Do you see a scenario where you might consider putting the titles on Sami Zayn?
Yeah, I think so. Honestly, and I can see him walking out with them and winning and getting the pop, and then, but then you're stuck, and he has to lose, and then you're gonna have this Cody side and the Sami Zayn side, and either the Cody side will be faithful to Cody, or the whole time families just will will turn on him if he were to face Sammy and he beats Sammy, or like maybe like the bloodline costs him at WrestleMania. But like I feel like Cody wouldn't want to win that way either. Like you can't do that. stipulation,
No.
or you can't do that finish with him.
Yeah.
Again, that'll just undermine Cody. It's hard. It's really hard. Like I want like my heart, obviously, like the heart picks that we had for the Rumble. It's like my heart is for Sammy, and I want Sammy to win. But logically, he can't beat Roman because of Cody. If Cody was still hurt, I think yeah, easy choice. He wins,
Mm,
and they
mm,
figure out how to separate the titles with him.
yeah.
I don't know, like, like because you still need. I think you need a champion in each show because the brand split's supposed to stay, and it
Yeah.
should stay.
You definitely do. The US title stuff can only get you so far.
Yeah, I mean Walter's doing a great job with the IC title, but
Yeah.
you can't have two mid cards on one show and then two fucking one undisputed title on the other.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. It's a tough scenario, and I'm just happy I'm not the one in charge because you're scared. You're right. I like what you said that this was like this past Monday with the promo with Sammy and Cody was like a test to see how they would fare.
Yeah.
And this wasn't like a promo about woe is me and I'm better. It's kind of supporting each other and banking ideas off each other.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they just went off the top of their heads with that because that's how good and talented they are.
Yeah.
Especially Sammy. Sammy's just really meticulous and precise. And like you hear the stories of like he's like, how like he's a perfectionist almost and how he wants this to be done.
Hmm.
Like he probably looked at himself in the promo and was like, I should have reacted more to this or done this more. And like even if you didn't miss something, like it was a hell of a promo that
Yeah.
easily could have backfired. And
Oh, so dude, it was so risky. So risky.
but I guess that's the thing. It's like Cody's so good at like not just elevating himself, and not having it to be just through his in-ring work.
Hmm.
It's because of his mic skills. It's his mic skills that get him further up the ladder, I think.
Yeah.
From undesirable to desirable, like that line. It's just like he's so good. And having Sammy, who's someone who is undesirable, was undesirable, now at the top, on the cusp of being the guy. But
Yeah.
then the tragic story could happen. He was this close and he missed. I just don't know.
Yeah. I
I don't
mean,
know.
here's one last thing that I think is worth mentioning. We have seen we've seen obviously a lot more misses in terms of guys getting over on their own and then a certain guy in charge not liking that and killing the push. But we have also seen the exact opposite thing happen. Like we've seen guys start to get over on their own,
Mhm.
and maybe it took a little while, but they did eventually get that big push.
Right.
So it's not out of the ordinary for WWE to just push the button and be like, you know what? This is the guy for at least the next few months. I did think one thing was interesting about that promo, and I'm
Hmm.
curious what your thoughts on this are. But like from my perspective, I think that if you did book Cody Sammy, regardless of the outcome, I don't think anyone would be be angry. Like because I think if you're rooting for Cody and Sammy beat him, you'd be like, well, Sammy's been on a crazy run. Like he deserves all of this. If you're rooting for Sammy and Cody beat him, you'd be like, well, Cody deserves this too. Like this guy
Hmm.
was a jobber. He had a comedy gimmick, came back. Like he started his own company. Then he came back,
Hmm.
won the big one for his dad, like the title his dad was never able to win. So like even as someone who would be pulling more for Sammy, I'd be like, no, man, I only one guy can win. Like I get it. And
Hmm.
I don't think there's a bad choice between those two. and because of that, it leads me to think like put them in the ring together.
Mm-hmm.
Like let them
Mm-hmm.
have the match. I mean, I don't know the next time you're gonna get an opportunity like this with like two guys super over at the same time. And if you're gonna put one of them in a tag team match, I just feels like a missed opportunity because there's a part of this storyline that like you almost have to pull back as a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
And it's like what's happening right now, this is like a moment in time. Like what's happening right now does not happen often in wrestling. Like it really doesn't. And I don't envy the people in charge of making these booking decisions,
Same.
but boy, does it feel like there is such a big opportunity to capitalize on something that you didn't expect to go this far. And if there was ever someone who was going to pivot, I would trust Triple H to have an idea for where they could go with it. But they're like ever since Monday, there's just this part of me that's like, I don't know. It feels like there's something like even more magical than I thought. It feels like there's
Mm-hmm.
something really special happening. And like I don't all of a sudden I don't feel as certain that Roman was going to win as I did. And I'm sure that's on purpose, and I'm sure he's still going to win, but I really like that I'm not as positive as I was. Well, that's going to do it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let us know what you think. Who's going to win? Who should win? What's happening at WrestleMania? Who is walking out of Elimination Chamber and still the champion or the new undisputed champion of the world? Well, either way, we'll be back to talk about it with you guys. It'll
Yep.
be me, it'll be Frankie, Anthony, some combination of us. We'll be back to talk about the outcomes. Thank you guys for tuning in. Three Amigos, 2 out of 3 today. We're out.
Peace.